everyone, and welcome back to Fantasy Football Universe. I am Aaron St. Dennis. Follow me on Twitter and all social media at FFMadScientist. Got a full house today, joined by Jeremy Shulman. I'm going to try the pointing game that way. No, of course not. I had a 50-50 chance and I can't do it. Jeremy Shulman at FF_Rebel. That one up there. SC Romero at the PPR show. Oh, that one's easy. Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05. Today we are here for a mock draft. Nothing fancy. It is your standard, probably home league settings. It's 10 rounds. It is redraft, single QB, as you'll see from Christian McCaffrey and CD Lamb being the top of the board there. Right. So that means we're not going to start with just 50 quarterbacks. So nothing fancy, just standard. As we go through here, comment your whatever you want, Twitter handle. If you're in the sleeper room, comment your sleeper handle, comment your name. I don't care. Just comment something where I can enter your name in some fashion into the duck race. And as we move along and fill up the duck race, I will run it. I can't show it right now because it's on the other screen, but once I can bring it up, we'll run it. It will be a 60-second duck race with the winner getting the spot in Scott Fishbowl 14. Thanks to the combination of Fantasy Cares, Scott Fish, Ryan McDowell, John Bosch, and Russ Fisher. So thank you to them. I think we are just getting ready here. Anybody else got anything? I think we're good to go. Good to go. Anything we
Let's
need
get it.
Nope. All right.
No, sir.
I am just here to commentate on the picks that y'all make and see what y'all are doing.
SC's not in the draft. He's just here to
I've already seen people commenting on Twitter. I'm like, no, don't comment on Twitter. Comment on YouTube or Sleeper.
Please direct them into the room here. We've got, what do we got? Jeremy at 3. Yep, Jeremy at the 3,
sir.
Me at the 5, Jesse at the 6. That's lovely. 3 of us almost in a row. I'm sure the sniping will be early and often. So I guess we'll queue it up here because the draft isn't necessarily the important part. 10 rounds. We have quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, a tight end, 3 flex. So nothing crazy. I'm going to queue it up. And then we're going to have to kind of do a good job here between the 4 of us of accumulating all the names. Laura, does that say Laura Fanta on the clock?
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent name.
Shout out Fanta. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
not a sponsor.
What was, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all of the age. What was it before? Was it Fruitopia? Was that what it used to be?
I don't know. This is
Fruitopia. That's
before
a deep
Fanta,
pull right there.
Before Fanta, there was Fruitopia.
Okay, I'm going to post some names here. So I've seen your name. Okay, I put Breaking Ball in. I got Jeff Sutrick. Let's see. SC, that's what you commented in the private chat. Perfect. All right. Harrison Davis, can you comment handle you want? Or I could just write you as Harrison Davis.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as they comment.
Comment that one. Yeah.
Did we say PPR, half PPR? What the hell are we doing here?
Half. Sorry. The important part here is not necessarily the draft. We have CMC going 1 overall.
The mock is always the important part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because our 900th mock of the off season is what's important. We're doing a mock. What is this, June 2nd? Yeah. This is going to be important. I'll tell you one thing. If you get to your drafts in, your home league drafts or whatever, if you're just a casual player and you're doing your home league drafts, what is it, long weekend, August, September there, and you're still watching this mock draft video, I don't like your chances because this will have been updated 90 freaking times by then. So can someone check the sleeper quickly just to see if we have anything missing? After the first round, I'm going to shorten this to 30-second clock. I just want to make sure everybody's present. But
this is super interesting here at the 3. It's not important, but I'll talk it out for about 10 seconds. Tyreek Hill, love him. I think he's great as a wide receiver, but if we're doing half PPR, definitely Bijan in consideration here for me. I think Tyreek Hill is the wide receiver 1, but Bijan could be the RB1 pretty easily. But I'm still going to go Tyreek Hill.
Oh, you don't do it though? Come on.
So speaking on that, in half PPR, you're going more running back than you do wide receivers early, right? That's the
early. Yeah,
top,
I think so. In most cases,
pass catching running back.
I think the issue here is CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill are both looking at potential 2,000-yard seasons. So if they're going to put up the yardage, we know they're probably most likely going to go over 1,500, both of them. So, I mean, that's easy money as a wide receiver.
Is Keon Coleman not going to have 2,000 yards? Who's his competition? Keon Coleman's about to go crazy with
You might be able to get him a little bit later.
Yeah, I have Brees as the second-ranked player in redraft season. So, like, it's Brees, CD, and then Bijan. Those are like the top 4 besides CMC. Like, those truly elite running backs, I want all those guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Jefferson, I really like, man, but is it Darnold? Is it McCarthy? I mean, he should be the go-to. But at the top of that, I mean, people I feel sleep on Addison, right? Like, Addison had a pretty good rookie season. Hawkinson's coming back too. You're not worried about the running back. They also brought in Aaron Jones, who can pass catch as well. So I like Jefferson for what he can do, but will he get as many targets as he has in the past? Will be the question.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate my spot here because I know what the absolute right pick is. The right pick here is Jamar Chase, but my heart tells me Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can't do it, but I'm just going to go Jamar Chase.
You're going to leave Jesse with running back heaven.
I appreciate y'all just leaving me Bijan. So my whole thought process with these wide receivers is like, what separates Amon-Ra and Jamar Chase and Jefferson? Like, those guys are all going to be very similarly grouped. And the way I'm looking at these wide receivers, even in the back end, like I'm going to get a Garrett Wilson, a Puka Nacua in the back. So theoretically, like I want the high end running back because in round 2, I know I can get a very, very good wide receiver. I think there's a drop off in the running backs, and that's why I'm pushing them up earlier. So I want those high end 4 guys. So yeah, I'll happily take Bijan here, especially at half PPR. Like it hurts Amon-Ra more than like pretty much anybody because he's such a target magnet. Yeah, so I'll take Bijan.
I'm confused. If you said you want a high end running back, why'd you take the Falcons number 2?
Get out of here with this nonsense.
Isn't Tyler Algier there starting?
Cordell Patterson's in Pittsburgh now. So
no, I meant Tyler Algier.
We're shutting down because Aaron's saying dumb comments here. We're stopping this whole stream now.
But I mean, but this is the point, right? Because SC was talking about the fact that I totally agree that Justin Jefferson, he's still an elite talent. But is he an elite fantasy producer? He might be top 6 at the position, but I'm not personally taking him in half PPR over these running backs. I think it's CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, maybe Jamar Chase over some of these elite running backs because you want the touchdown upside coupled with the insane yardage. And I just don't see Justin Jefferson being targeted as much as he was down the field. It'll be open, but can J.J. McCarthy and or Sam Darnold reproduce what Kirk Cousins was able to do in terms of the depth of target down the field?
Well, even last year with backup quarterbacks, he still was over 20 points a game. So, like, I know we are worried about him losing Kirk Cousins, but, like, the guy's so freaking good. And I think the one guy that hurts the most is Addison because Addison was so touchdown dependent. He had double-digit touchdowns. Like, that's not going to happen again this year, so he's going to come down. So, it's going to hurt the secondary options like Hawkinson and Addison more, I think. And, like, Jefferson's going to be the guy that's fine. Like, he's just going to have a super high target share, kind of similar to, like, Drake London in just a better offense where he has a high target share. It might not be the most amount of targets, but it's like, I'm really not worried about Jefferson because when we start pushing him down, like, really far, then I think we're, overthinking a little bit just because the talent's too good.
I see Ryan Prosick on this list. Ryan, how the fuck are you not in already in SFB?
He's just chilling.
How are you not in?
He'll get there.
With Jefferson, I mean, is there worry he still going to finish as a top 5 receiver, or is there worry that because of a different quarterback that he may finish, top 10 but not 5?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could be top 10. I don't see him falling outside like the top 6. Like he's just that. It's so hard for me to bet against talent. Like when we were comparing him to Jamar Chase, right? Like even last year, the whole reason with Addison why he's so good is because they had multiple guys miss time last year where Addison kind of took a step forward. Now that Jefferson's back and then Hawkinson slowly comes back, it's just hard for all those guys to get targets in the offense. So whenever it's like that, same thing with Devontae Adams. I want like the number 1 option. I'm much more worried about the secondary options in situations like that.
I'm really glad you guys are chatty while I try and write in. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will just quick shout out, Lord of Fanta. You're the 101. You also have a really good X name, Albino_avocado, man. Top names this year. Really love it, man. Great names.
He's a clubhouse favorite for the duck race when albino avocado for sure.
Yeah, we got to find an albino duck and just throw him in there.
I don't get to pick them. They're random. I was very disappointed because there's a few times where I'm like, I want to set everyone to like their theme duck. You can't. It's just random. So sorry, guys. If you get the Michael Myers duck, or you just get the president duck. I don't get to choose, man. I can turn them where it's only colors, but
Shout out Ryan, I agree. It's fun seeing first timers get in, man. My first time getting in, I was like super stoked, and it's still just a great overall experience, man. Great networking, especially if you're newer in the industry. A lot of fun.
No, I beg to differ. It has not been a great experience. I've done it 3 years in a row, and I haven't gotten through the first month healthy. It has not been a great experience. I haven't made the playoffs yet because I've had at least 2 out of the 3 years where I've lost my first 4 picks. Last year, sorry, go ahead.
That's year 1 I made it in playoffs, and last year I went a little spicy in all my picks, so I definitely didn't make it. I was trying to be the outlier and be like, oh, these guys are gonna hit, and don't choose the guys you know hit. Don't choose your sleepers in round 1. Not a smart move there.
Yeah, last year
my starting quarterbacks were, I forget who it was, Kirk Cousins and somebody else who was done for the season, and then my first 2 non-quarterback picks were JT and Cooper Kupp. Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me summarize the round here quickly. First round went, bear in mind, redraft, single QB. So we got our half PPR, CMC, CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Bijan, Breece Hall, ARSB, AJ Brown, Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr. There was a Harrison in the group in the list here, and I almost said his name, and Garrett Wilson, and we're back on the clock at the 201.
I think right now I have my dynasty rankings. Tyreek Hill's down just because of his age, but all those top ones, like in that order, Puka, then Harrison, then I think Wilson is really where I'm at. I might have Wilson a little higher, but great wide receivers there. You know they're gonna get the target shares, even in half PPR. You know they're gonna get some yardage there as well. So I definitely love it. Shout out Porg in the comments. He said, "I'm just here to mock. Really looking forward to the Philly live by first." There you go.
Heck yeah, that's what it's all about.
Nice, congrats.
Live drafts are awesome, and here you go. The running backs, Gibbs. That's the reason why I'm in Raw.
He told me he was just here to mock, and then when I screwed it up, he was someone sniped his spot, but it won't matter because I think he said he was 10 or 7 or something, but that was in Scott Fishbowl, and this isn't Scott Fishbowl settings. I suppose it would have made more sense to do Scott Fishbowl settings, but I honestly, I'm just so sick of doing nothing but Superflex where we just do the QB race. I want a break. I'm sorry.
What up, Ken? Canada in the house, baby.
Ken, do you want your name in the draw here? If you do, just comment whatever handle you want, Twitter, whatever. I don't care if it's your real name, whatever. Just if not, I will put you in as Ken Brzezowski. That reminds me of Mike Wazowski.
Half PPR redraft. Amon-Ra or Gibbs. I mean, should that be closer than what people are thinking in half PPR?
No.
I think it should be closer personally.
Yeah, I agree.
I have Gibbs as a round 1 pick, so I have Gibbs right behind Amon-Ra back. It's just preference, right? If you want Amon-Ra, that's fine. If you want the high end running back,
St. Brown. I have St. Brown in the group with the top receivers. That's why for me, I like Gibbs. I think he's the end of the first round, like a 1-2 turn player. But for me, I have St. Brown. I would have if I had to go, I would have taken him pretty much. Like I said, I wanted to take him almost over Chase. But I couldn't. I would have taken him as high as 4, probably.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
Yeah,
those 2 guys are special.
And I'm putting JT in the first round. I mean, after AJ Brown in half PPR, JT for me at the 110. I mean, I think that's easy money. So he slipped a little bit there. He's over Gibbs to me.
Oh, gross! I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, whatever.
You took Olave. You didn't take your boy?
No, that's what I'm saying. I was like, Olave. Oh, God. I mean, I would have taken a running back, but yeah, Olave's fine. It's all good.
How does everyone feel about Brandon Ayuk? I don't know if he's going to be my pick, but I've had an insane amount of Brandon Ayuk this year in redraft. He always seems to fall to me.
He's really good.
Ayuk,
he's phenomenal.
If Debo is still there, I like Ayuk. If Debo gets traded and it's Persol, I like Ayuk less because I think Persol and him could kind of be a similar play style, just both eating underneath. Where Debo, I think, is just more of a utility player where they can move him around, so that helps out Ayuk. So it definitely depends on where the 49ers are at the start of the season. Rumor is Ayuk or Debo could be a Steeler, so we'll see.
Well, even last year Debo outscored Ayuk, and that's the whole thing, right? So if a Debo moves on, it seriously opens up. And you kind of see his target share jump. It jumped to 29% without Debo on the field compared to 20. he's just a special player. And if you're opening up more work for him, like I love Pearsall, but he's a rookie, like, and I'm not expecting him to do what Debo does. So I think it just consolidates the targets around those guys more. So CMC gets a little bit of a boost. Ayuk gets a boost. It's just the ceiling is the question mark with Ayuk because there's so much talent there, including Kittle. Like it's really hard for him to be a top 5 wide receiver because he has to be so efficient.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this comment?
Yeah.
Zero hero RB being more successful. Thoughts?
Well,
if you like the running backs late, then yeah. Like if you like a Jacobs in round 3 or 4, if you like, you don't want to push it further, sure. It's just you have to be confident in those players. But yeah, like the wide receivers, the high end guys, like London, you start out with Ayuk, Chase, all those guys. I'm totally fine with that. I know Jeremy's an OG, like zero RB truther, so yeah, like
OG. Yeah, but that's the problem is like now all the talk is zero RB. I'm a truther of like trying to find the
value,
the path to value, right? And so it was zero RB until everyone started talking zero RB. So if you got 3, 4, 5 different guys doing zero RB in a draft, there's no longer the value there. It's kind of like here in the second round of a redraft half PPR. Do I want to go with like Travis Etienne or Derrick Henry and take on that risk, even though the volume is there? Do I want to reach on a Pacheco at the end of the second? Or do I want to take kind of that safe value and that insulation of a wide receiver? So I'm not going zero RB here because I think it's valuable. But at this point in the draft, I'm not super confident about all these running backs after Achane's off the board.
Yeah, I mean, you can start with like a draft where Connor or Jones are RB1. It's just risky, like, and you have to accept it. Yeah. Or you could push it all the way to Tajay Spears if you really wanted to. But like, it's kind of difficult in redraft for you to pull that off. So you just have to hit it.
Yeah. I find with the zero RB specifically, you have to be really confident in your ability to pick which running backs are gonna be actually useful. Then you have to hope they don't get drafted earlier than they should be, and then you have to hope when you do have them, because you're inevitably going to be tight already. You have to hope they fucking stay healthy, because hitting Kyren Williams is nice, but if I guess he didn't necessarily stay healthy for those 4 weeks last year or 5 weeks where Kyren was out. Even though he was good all year, you were screwed for those 4 or 5 weeks because you had nothing. So I find it leaves. I like the strategy when it hits, but when it doesn't hit, you leave yourself with no room for error. So let me recap the second here. Second one, we had Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, big run on running backs here. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, Kyren Williams, Devon Achane. Then we go London, Olave, Ayuk, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams. Our first QB off the board at 211 is Josh Allen. We have Derrick Henry, who I haven't seen going this high, but he is there. We start the third with Travis Etienne, Sam Laporta, and Mike Evans. Next up at the 304.
Yep. And because it's a mock, I'm just going to go for the zero RB because it was mentioned. But right there, I really like Isaiah Pacheco. For me, he's kind of the last guy, maybe him and maybe Rashad White. But Isaiah Pacheco for me right there is kind of the last locked in running back with serious volume and a half PPR and amazing offense. They're just going to be, white hot fire this year. I think Kansas City's going to go off, and Isaiah Pacheco is going to be money in half PPR. So,
yeah, like, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I don't know why Derrick Henry goes so far below Jonathan Taylor. The situations are very similar for both these guys in this. And it's maybe just the fact he's older and you're worried about the injury. But if you're looking at volume, Henry's going to see the volume. Taylor's going to see the volume. I'm worried about Taylor's ceiling. So I have them really close together. I think I have Taylor at RB8 and like Henry at RB10. But like, that's the floor for Derrick Henry. Like, if he's going to play and be healthy, he's going to be better than that. So I think we're all worried about it a little bit too much with Henry compared to Taylor, where I think Anthony Richardson's going to steal some of that work where the ceiling's probably not going to be there.
In a lot of times, just in drafts, like we play Dynasty so much, I always have to remind myself this isn't Dynasty, right? So like Devontae Adams, I would take him higher than I think Ayuk. Honestly, more than Olave too, even though he's older, but it's like I gotta remind myself that like our age doesn't matter. Like who do I think balls out this year? I'm not looking to say 2 years, or something like that. So you always have to remind yourself that as well.
I was gonna say 1 sec here. Let me make my pick, but no, back to the zero or hero RB. I find that someone commented here about hitting the panic button. I find I never go into a draft planning on going zero RB. It's more of there was a run, and instead of hitting the panic button, I just lean into it here and I just say, screw it. Today's a zero RB draft for me. But I never go in and say, I'm going to go zero RB here. Are we afraid Richardson gets hurt and Flacco plays QB this year? I'm not
afraid. We're not afraid of Joe Flacco playing QB. We saw it last year. Michael Pittman to the moon, baby. Let's go.
Like I do worry about Pittman's ceiling this year with Richardson, but like it's floor plays both those guys, and he's gonna get hurt. Like Richardson's one of the highest percent chances at quarterback get hurt. He's gotten hurt every year getting back to high school, so you kind of have to just build an NFL because he might miss and just deal with it. But when he plays, dude, there's gonna be like 3 quarterbacks to score more points than him, maybe. Like he's such a cheat code for fantasy. So yeah, like I'm not worried about it.
Can you throw that comment from Jeff up again? Yeah, I mean, that's really the whole point is like you don't want to be at the end of the run if you can avoid it, right?
Yeah.
So really, if you're looking at the back end of the first tier where we had a run of 5, I know it was a bit of an auto draft, but then you had the run of 5 running backs at the beginning of the second. Don't hit the panic button and just take a Josh Jacobs or a Derrick Henry in the middle of the second if that's not where you value them. Drake London is a great value there in the middle of the second. So you don't have to worry about runs. Do not panic and just grab the value. And in the first few rounds, you're grabbing value anyway. That's really where you live. And as Aaron was saying, you're going to figure out what your draft strategy is as the draft evolves.
This is also start 3 wide receiver too. So this is like a little bit different. So wide receivers should get pushed up in this format too because we're starting 3 as opposed to 2.
You really didn't care about that comment. You just wanted to cover my face and ruin my coverage. Let's see how it is.
Let's get over here.
Let's see how it is. Okay, let me recap here quickly. We ended the 3rd round, so it went ETN, Laporta, Mike Evans, Isaiah Pacheco. I took Mahomes as the 2nd QB. Nico, Rashad White, Travis Kelce, Debo, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, Malik Neighbors. Start the 4th, we have DJ Moore, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, and we are back at the 405 here. Again, if you're watching and you don't have your name in yet, please comment it so we can add you to the running list of about 16, it looks like, for the duck race at the end of this. The Scott Fish Bowl 14 invite. It doesn't look like it's going to take us all that long to get to it today.
Yeah.
And Diggs and Nico. I mean, Nico just got signed, right? So who do you think becomes the wide receiver 1? Is it still Nico or does Diggs come in and play effects?
I think he's just a clearly better player at this point than Diggs. Diggs has the name cachet, but like he regressed, and that showed up in his reception numbers. Like he was still good, but like he wasn't the elite talent he is. So I think Nico's the guy that is the one there. It should play out that way. But like I think they'll be close. Like I think all 3 of these guys are going to be good, including Tank Dell.
Yeah, but we saw CJ Stroud absolutely ball out. I mean, he elevates guys on that team, right? So I don't really have a concern about Diggs. What I think more so is that Diggs being there in that offense is just going to sap the fantasy value of everybody. And I want CJ Stroud and not necessarily Nico or Diggs or Tank kind of where they're going as they're elevated. 1, 2 of them are probably going to hit, but I'm not totally sure which one.
I was just about to lean into this and say, hey, look, this is where I go 0 RB accidentally. But Ken Walker's still on the board. And if Ken Walker hadn't been on the board, I would have leaned into 0 RB, but I'm not passing Ken Walker in the 4th.
Yeah, like look, it's Walker, Mixon. Like those guys are all going to be solid fantasy options at the least. So like it's round 4 too. So like you have good picks here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So we have DJ Moore, Jalen Hurts, Waddle, DK Metcalf, Lamar. So we have 4 quarterbacks in 4 rounds. Devonta Smith, James Cook, Ken Walker. This is where it starts to really get ugly, I think, around the 5th round. The names, you start getting into the, like, I seen, was it you who posted earlier, SC, about Cooper Kupp, whether he's still elite or not? I know this is a debate here. He seems to be in that group of the elite guys who were once studs that are now falling. Diggs, Adams. It's funny that Diggs, Adams, Kupp, for me, I feel like I feel the same about all of them, but yet we see Adams off the board at 210, Diggs off the board at 310, and Kupp is still on the board. So what are your thoughts there on the older guys who used to be first rounders who are now 2nd, 3rd, and 4th?
It's tough, right? Like with Diggs, what's the ceiling with him? I think the floor is very high. Like Adams has nobody blocking him from 170 targets once again. Like he can get there. I don't think there's any chance Diggs gets near that many targets. I think he can be very good, very efficient. But like he's probably more than likely a wide receiver 2 this year, which is fine. But like if you're chasing guys in this range, you kind of want the ceiling, and I just don't see it with Diggs. So that's why I prefer Nico. I see the chance of him being the one there. Like I'm just not sure it's gonna be Diggs. Like I think he's gonna play in the slot, he's gonna go out underneath stuff and do that, but he could possibly come off the field in like 2 wide receiver sets certain things. So like that's kind of what we're down to.
comment your name, terminal sarcasm, or what you want to be entered in here. I will put that in, but if you have a Twitter handle or whatever you want, please comment it so I can enter you into the draw. But yeah, sorry, I would just like, for me, I think I get your theory there about Adams having the pathway to more targets, but I think Diggs and Cup are pretty similar for me.
Yeah.
I think I like Cup slightly better, so it's amazing to see Cup go a round and a half later. But let me recap this round before you answer there. So DJ Moore to start the fourth, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Lamar, Devonta Smith, James Cook, Ken Walker, CJ Stroud, Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, and Cooper Kupp. We are back on the clock in the fifth. But yeah, I think I get that Adams should probably be a round ahead, but I think Diggs and Kupp should be closer than this. I considered Kupp here. If I hadn't had no running back and Ken Walker wasn't on the board, he probably would have been my guy.
Yeah, like Scott Kobe said he does projections in the comments, and he has him at 125 targets for Diggs. So, like, that's the problem I'm more with Diggs. Like, I don't see the ceiling. So, if I'm picking guys in that range, I think he's a fine floor play. If you want him, you can lock him in. But, like, the ceiling, I just don't see it being there. So, that's the hard part. You need to be super efficient. Kind of what Jalen Waddle's been the last few years, where he's been incredibly efficient, even on limited targets. Which, by the way, I don't know why he's going late in, like, the fourth round. That's crazy value on Waddle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know why Waddle's going that late either. What do I know?
That's because people still worry about Hill being there. And now, I mean, you talk about Alshon if he's healthy, then they also brought in the tight end, Smith, who, you know, is good pass catching tight end. And then you also brought in Jalen Wright. So, I mean, he's good, but that's one of those questions that when he's on the board, are you thinking, okay, will he get me the wins I need this year, or is he better dynasty? You know, where is he at in the redraft dynasty? Because he's one of those wide receivers where he's maybe just a little bit lower than he is in dynasty and redraft.
Yeah. Well, like this is the interesting
touchdowns.
Oh, you just no. This is the interesting thing though to consider too, right? Is like Jesse just said, he did get unlucky on touchdowns, but what are we looking for when we construct our roster, right? For me, I personally want steady producers. If you look at the guys that I'm drafting, I'm looking at target volume, but at the same time, you know, when are you comfortable taking those boom bust guys? Because Jalen Waddle is going to be a super boom bust player. He's a Devonta Smith. He's, you know, DK Metcalf to an extent. He's George Pickens. These guys are going to pop off for 40 points a couple of times a year. They're going to absolutely win your week. If they do it at the end of the season, you know, in championship week in the playoffs, right, you're going to absolutely crush. So it's really about kind of risk tolerance and how you feel about these guys, and then how far up the board you're willing to push them. For me, you can see with my picks, I'm more risk averse, and I want that steady production. But it's really just how you end up predicting who's going to score points when at the end of the year.
Yeah, and like with Waddle to a point, he also suffered a lot of injuries last year too. So like he got double hit from injuries and lack of touchdowns. Like you're supposed to have a receiving touchdown like every 160 yards. He was at like 240. Like that was his touchdown rate last year. So it was really low. So I expect him to bounce back and be a lot closer to the guy we've seen in the past, where he's like a top 10-ish wide receiver instead of a top 25, 30.
I really want the wide, like I want a wide receiver that just gets me by at the beginning of the season and then they boom at the end. Like I don't want the wide receivers that boom early on, like the Diggs, for example. Yeah, I mean, in the sense you would with that, yeah. But I mean, like you think about Diggs, right? He was a boomer all season, and end of the season, he just fell off the map. Like he was he was like wide receiver 30 from like week 14 to the playoffs or something like that. It was something astronomical for a top 10 wide receiver the whole season, and he just dropped off the map. And that's what I don't want in those.
Yeah.
I almost missed my last pick. I didn't realize I was on the clock, so I just went with Andrews here. But I think the answer to Jeremy's question of when is everyone, like the consensus, comfortable with taking these guys who are the possible wide receiver ones, but the more boom or bust ones? And apparently the answer is about the fourth or fifth round, because that's when that's when you start to see the guys who used to be stars but are older, Keenan Allen, Diggs, Kupp, they're going off the board. And then you see the younger guys like Smith, Waddle, Zay Flowers here, Pickens. You know, Pickens, I think, is the ultimate boomer bust, but that seems to be the mix there.
Well, yeah, because like you could take like the way it worked out last year is like there was 6 or 8 teams that had the top 24 wide receivers, basically the majority of them. It was like the Rams, the Texans, all these other players, right? Because they were such good offenses, opposed to taking like a Chris Olave or Devontae Adams, who are on suspect offensive back quarterback play. Like how do you want to risk averse your team and set up that way? Because I think those guys have high floors, but if you want to chase the ceiling, it's the other guys.
The fucking auto pick just sniped the last remaining elite receiver, I thought. I was sitting here going, how is Roma Dunze still left on the board? But let me recap the fifth round.
Look at those tight ends, too.
I know.
Fifth round was Pickens, Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Anthony Richardson, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Alvin Kamara, Roma Dunze, Dalton Kincaid, Aaron Jones. So we see a mix of the younger upside guys and the older guys that we're hoping to get one more season out of.
Sure.
You got to mix everything. There's every single position. Even in the sixth round, we're 6 picks into it. We've had one of every position. Bit of a mini tight end run here. 4 tight ends going 8 picks. But that typically happens after you see the last of the 4 guys, the top 4 here in Laporta, McBride, Kelsey, Andrews. When the last one goes, you see a run on the guys who want to make sure they get the next group here. Same can be said, I guess, normally when you see Allen, Mahomes, Stroud, Jackson, Hurts, like the top 5 there, you see a run here where everyone wants to make sure they're not left out on Richardson, Burrow, Herbert, whoever they have.
But that's the thing, too, is like, I mean, you were talking about between quarterbacks and tight ends, it's really difficult because we talked about this the other day on a pod, is that, when you draft a team and you're constructing your roster and redraft, you're going to have a hole. Where are you most comfortable having that hole? For me, if you're going 0 RB, I've been comfortable in the past having that hole at running back. But, you're probably going to have it at quarterback if you draft a tight end early. You're probably going to have it at tight end if you draft a quarterback early, because those onesie positions, if you're taking them at the same time, then you're kind of struggling to, fill out your roster appropriately and get the, most bang for your draft buck. So for me, where are you comfortable having the holes in your roster? And then you have to kind of build accordingly. So for me, 0 RB, fine. I feel comfortable picking those RBs later, but it's really just personal preference, I think.
I had an interesting one that I almost interrupted to have you guys help me with. I went with Connor, but for me, I was debating between Connor and Jordan Addison, but the QB situation led me to Connor. Where do you guys fall there? Because I feel like aging running back, I mean, it's redraft, so we don't care, but running back where I'm hoping to get 1 year here and not have him lose his job to Benson versus number 2 receiver where I'm hoping, like, what are your thoughts there on the Connor?
Who are the other running backs
Addison
on the board?
Oh, Deontay, damn you.
Who are the other running backs on the board, though?
DeAndre Swift, Ramondre, like it's a cliff.
Connor,
Nobody.
definitely Connor. Like I have Connor at 45. I have
I would have taken Najee, bro. Najee's still down there.
Yeah, he's far too low.
I would have taken Najee on that one, to be honest.
Okay, let me recap here quickly. 6th round went Kyle Pitts, Rashee Rice, Evan Ingram, Joe Burrow, David Montgomery, Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, James Conner, Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson. That's a steal. Chris Godwin is probably a steal as well in this format. Then we have Jordan Addison, and we're back on the clock at 7:02. 7:01 was George Kittle. So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Deontay's just still too low. I don't know what's happening here, but there's not a whole lot of target competition. But that's a good call. We're moving fast here. I think Chris Godwin probably gets the edge there. If he does move into the slot, he's going to see a similar amount of targets to Deontay. He's in a better offense, and he's got that touchdown upside that I don't think Deontay Johnson has ever showed that he has. So in half PPR, I'd probably go Godwin, but it is pretty close.
Yeah, like they showed his metrics in the slot. He was such a better player. Like he's just not a guy who can play on the outside. You want him in the slot. So if he's moving to the slot, he's going to be a lot better towards the second half of what we saw, where he's going to be a top 20 wide receiver. Like I'm not worried about it. And he's going like ADP, like wide receiver 40. It's crazy. Like the discount on Godwin's too much. Like he needs to be bumped up multiple rounds.
Zach Moss is another one that just went. That is someone I was really liking there.
Sneaky. Yep.
So everyone just really believes Warren's just taking. Like, why is Najee still on the board? I would have taken Najee over Montgomery, Connor, Moss, even Aaron Jones.
Saying that Najee's who I want.
Bro, like,
why do you think I didn't post this Najee comment? Because I didn't want to get sniped.
Najee, he has not had a season less than 1,000 yards rushing. People like Warren, yeah, sure, but Najee is the guy. You have Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith likes to run that ball, and Najee is that bell cow type of back that will be used. And they didn't get any field stretchers in the offseason or the draft. They're gonna play close to the chest. Najee's gonna get more receptions this year. He's gonna run the ball between the tackles. He's gonna get 1,000 yards again. Najee is way too low.
Yeah. Plus, like the fact that they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, it maybe concerns us for Dynasty. In redraft, we know that means they're going to run him into the
Right.
ground. So
Exactly.
this season, it's Najee wheels up for sure.
Yeah.
Did
Both-
Monty
but, like,
go?
both
Is
running backs are
Monty
both
still on the board?
Yes.
I think so.
Do you see
think he
David
is.
Montgomery?
I don't
Oh, he
actually.
did.
No, he got
605.
taken.
Montgomery
Shy of
605,
him.
605.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I seen someone comment and I said, "Is he gone?" But no, I'm glad.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
What do
think
we got?
you want the
Warren
running
cuts
backs in
into
the
this?
offense. They're both going to be
Yeah,
high
both.
plays. I don't know if there's a ceiling for them necessarily, but like Kobe was talking about, like the Najees, the Montgomerys of the world, they're solid plays. You know what you're getting. Like you could get consistent production out of them, particularly on a 0 RB build. That's like kind of what you want. Guys that are steady, they give you that. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a 0 RB build, though. I mean, 0 RB, you got to be really careful. You get into the running back dead zone here from about rounds 4, 5 to about round 8, 9. You really shouldn't be taking a running back before round 7 or 8 if you're actually going to do 0 RB. Now, it's terrifying, right? Because you're not filling that hole. And especially in half PPR, I mean, it's scary. I'm staring down Mostert. I'm like, he could be, the running back 2 again. Right? Like I should be taking Raheem Mostert here. But if I'm truly going 0 RB, what I'm looking to do with this roster is I have another flex spot. I'm going to draft another. I have my quarterback in Kyler. I have my tight end in McBride. I have 5 number 1 wide receivers for their own team. I need to take 2 more wide receivers now before I even take a running back so I can properly build that out. But then I'm hammering running back in the last few rounds and I'm taking, 5 or 6 running backs and just trying to plug them in wherever they go.
That's the roster construction element.
Yeah.
If you're going to go 0 RB, you absolutely need to hammer running back towards the end of your, like, just
Yep.
nonstop running back toward the end because you need to hit as multiple guys as possible. So, like, you should have the high end wide receivers. You should not take wide receiver dart throws at the end because they're never going to play for you, right? So, like, you can absolutely hammer running back.
To your point, it's funny because you just kind of got to, let the draft come to you. Because what we were talking when it came to me in the 4th round, I had 2 receivers and a quarterback, and I was saying, well, it looks like I'm going to end up punting running back and going 0 RB. And then Ken Walker was on the board, and next thing I know, I have 3 RBs in 4 rounds because I like the ones who fell to me. So this is why you don't just get yourself set in one strategy and say, oh, I'm doing this for sure, because I could have passed on some real value there if I had.
Very true.
Even like now 0 RB, because you have so many teams going more committee style back, 0 RB isn't a bad way. Like if your 0 RB is, let's say, Jalen Warren and Tony Pollard, that's great. Raheem Mostert, like you mentioned, Zamir White. Even if you go Alex Madison, like I know people are on Zamir White, Madison actually did better with less, right? When he wasn't the RB1. So this could be the time where he actually gets to step into some roles and has some efficiency as well. So, I mean, this is a great strategy, but that also means you're getting some heavy hitting wide receivers and a top tight end there and even a quarterback. You have to make sure you're not just getting like overdrafting guys. You're like, oh, this is the breakout. Get the guys that are consistent that will go out there and ball out and then go your 0 RB as well. JSN might be a steal.
I gotta get us caught up here, guys.
Looking at him.
Seventh round, we had George Kittle, Zach Moss, Kyler Murray, Jake Ferguson, Najee Harris, Xavier Worthy, Dak Prescott, Hollywood Brown, David Njoku, Ramondre Stevenson, Calvin Ridley, and DeAndre Swift. I am up on the clock now in the 8th, and I am in need of a wide receiver because I only have 2. D-Hop, Brian Thomas. So we're in a spot where it's a lot of rookies here. Do I want to throw a shot at a rookie or you got old veterans? I don't really want D-Hop.
Like, do you have high
Chase and Ayuk?
Yeah, I think Hopkins is like a really solid floor player.
100%.
If you want to shoot a ceiling shot, it's Thomas or Watson, like those 2 guys.
Yep.
But
yeah, for me, it's Thomas or DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins is good.
And we mentioned Coleman at the top. Like these top 4 guys are who I'm looking at wide receiver here coming up. Keon Coleman has the path to touches. I mean, that's the shot in this range of the draft that I want to take. I mean, he could have 100 targets pretty easly in year 1.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to tell me when you're going to talk so I can do this. For God's sake. I didn't block you out. I got to be better than that, man.
With the Tennessee offense, Ridley over Hopkins. Well, Boyd's there too now, right?
I still prefer Hopkins over Ridley.
Agree.
I think he's a better player. And like Ridley's good. We saw his usage, but like he has to be used a certain way. Hopkins is still that X on the outside. He was putting up the target share. The offense wasn't good, so he suffered because of that offense. they've improved the offense across the line, the wide receivers, the skill position players. So I think it should be better. I think Hopkins is actually another guy who I don't mind taking in this range, where you're getting a solid floor play who has a decent ceiling. It's just injuries at his age. Like he could miss half the season. I wouldn't surprise me if he's sold.
Yeah. Well, so this is interesting. So right here, I'm not looking at running back right now, even though I don't mind Pollard. Brooks is still on the board. There's some good value there. But I am looking at kind of filling out my flex, and I don't love the wide receiver options here. But I do like this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and double up on tight end. And if TJ Hawkinson comes back and he's the same old TJ Hawkinson, he's easily, in my mind, going to be the number 2 target on that team. And there's value there because of Kevin O'Connell. Number 3 target, if he's that, I don't think the value is there, but he's still playing tight end, so he's a little insulated in that case.
Please attempt to draft a legal roster, Mr. I'm not taking a running back. Just saying.
I will take one in round 10.
And 11. Or, yeah, sorry, 9 and 10, motherfucker. You need 2, don't you? Okay, so here, the 8th round, we have Raheem Mostert, Austin Eckler, Jalen Warren, Zamir White, Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers. That's pretty low on Bowers. I think I like Bowers over Ferguson, but that's just
I was going to take Bowers if you didn't go.
JSN, D-Hop, Keon Coleman, TJ Hawkinson, Jonathan Brooke is also a lot farther down than I expected at 8-11, and Brian Thomas Jr. We are on the clock at the 9:02.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the ADP on Sleepers clears too up. Because we're doing the auto drafting, like Rashee Rice went so much earlier than I expected him to go because they're following ADP. Where in your home leagues, there's no way in hell Rashee Rice is going that early because that's why I took Worthy. I expected Rice to be there, but he went multiple rounds earlier. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how Sleepers ADP is set up and how it's going to change moving forward. Because when we get closer to redraft season, these numbers, like these running backs, are going to be boosted way up. I took Spears. You said that's a good
This is an interesting point here. Worthy went early, but doesn't Hollywood lead it? Same with Rashee Rice.
Yeah, like it's you want the wide receivers on offense. I'll say this. Like, I personally don't mind Rice because he's likely going to be the cheapest of the 3. But
yes, Scott.
You know, they're all very good. Yeah. And to his point, like Jordan Love shows how valuable you can get a good quarterback in round 8, 9.
Yep.
Like
in this one, it went Rice, Worthy, and Hollywood in this one. So Hollywood was the cheapest. Obviously, you said one was an auto pick, but.
Yeah, it's Rice. Rice was the auto pick team like multiple rounds earlier, so that's where I was like, because I was looking for him.
But Scott also asked earlier. He was saying who in Tennessee, who's in the Chase role and who is in the Higgins role this year. I think Ridley's the Chase guy, and then you have Higgins as the Hopkins.
They said they want to use him in the Chase role, which is weird. I don't know how he fits playing that role, but I mean, I guess if they view him that way, it's very weird.
Yeah, but Will Levis is not Joe Burrow, right? So I think that's what the concern is here. Is like, are they both going to be valuable roles? They're going to try to make them both valuable roles, but with the decrease in talent of those two guys, a late career Hopkins and a Calvin Ridley. They're not Chase and Higgins, and then you have an inferior quarterback. So,
but at the same time,
top 10. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, as we were talking about, Steelers trying to play close to the chest. I think the Titans got people too stressed to field, so they want to use Levis's arm. Now, this is what we're gonna see. All right, was Levis worth it? And you can be very high on him. So they're gonna air it out because Pollard and Spears, they're great, but they're not Derrick Henry. So
it's your
like
pick.
that.
Oh, so I wasn't paying attention.
So you have
5 seconds.
Oh God, I'll pick Pollard.
There you go. Hey,
yeah, that's good.
There you go.
It's fine.
It's the 0 RB right there.
Is that who you wanted, Pollard?
They don't care. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
But that's also, I think that's where you if you want to count on Levis, that's the opportunity you can see is they can air it out. They have some big games. Now, is he accurate? That's what we'll find out. But
yeah, that's the issue for sure. But I mean, he's set up. I mean, we're going to find out right now, but for redraft purposes, I think, Hopkins and Ridley, who I don't think is off the board yet, are going where that risk is baked in.
Really went in 7 at the end of the 7th.
Yeah, he went. Yeah. I mean, if you want to look at any stats, Hopkins was just better across the board. So, like, my whole thing is I think Hopkins is a better player, and he's likely he's going to be the one because he's been that his entire career pretty much since he came in the league. But if you want to go Ridley, like, I don't mind it. I just think Hopkins is better personally. So it just depends on how you view these two guys.
Tennessee's one of those weird teams where it's like I will take the players because I know the players are good, but I don't think I'm taking Levis in a redraft. I'll take him in Dynasty, but I'm not taking him in redraft. Maybe if he's like the end of the round, I'm like, all right, maybe I need a backup quarterback. You know?
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I like the idea of Levis or even a Bryce Young, somebody like that who they built around them. They're still relatively unknown in terms of this untapped potential. Will they achieve it? I don't know. We're skeptical, but if they do, I mean, they're going to pop in as a last round pick, and you'll know right away.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jaden Daniels just went too.
3 auto picks.
Yeah,
Gotta love the auto picks where they're drafting 2 quarterbacks here because Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, and a single QB. That's interesting. But anyways,
wait, we don't have legal lineups. I'm not taking a second.
They have legal lineups. They drafted quarterbacks. Ninth round, we got Jordan Love, Tyjae Spears, Brian Robinson, Jamal Williams, Jamison Williams, Christian Watson, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams. Too many fucking Williams in this league. Devin Singletary, which is good value. Cortland Sutton, Nick Chubb, Dallas Goedert, which is probably decent value if you think he has anything left. And Caleb Williams ends the 9th. We are at our final round. So please get your damn names in if you haven't already. We're going to be doing this pretty soon here.
Yeah, this is a fun comment by Equinox. Like,
it's Singletary.
I think Singletary's an innings eater type running back. Like, he'll give you volume more than likely. But there is a path for him to give way to, and I mean, if people are in on Eric Gray, sure, he was terrible.
You're going to say Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, I was going to say Tyrone Tracy. If you want to take a late round shot on him, I'd be fine taking a late round shot on him.
Yeah, Brightwell's not terrible,
Yeah, like they're going to give volume to that running back room because outside of Neighbors, man, the skill position talent sucks. Like, it's not good. So they're going to get those guys involved. So you kind of just want to see how it played out, watch it early. I would just, if you have a deep roster, I would just pick up Tracy and see how it works out because he can totally carve out a role because he's an explosive big running back.
That's a good Scott Fishbowl target if you're in late rounds in Scott Fishbowl. Take Tracy and pray.
And that's what I love. I love Eric Gray coming out last year, but you mentioned, Tracy has that explosiveness to him. Eric Gray doesn't have that. He's a good runner, but he's very stiff in his running, so he's not gonna hit the holes like Tracy does. So and Tracy's a better pass catcher as well. So that's where he can be, Gray out of camp as well.
Where did Chubb go?
It's to early retirement because
ninth round. End of the 9th round isn't Jesse. You're on the clock again. End of the 9th round isn't terrible value.
I need a tight end. Oh, no, he's the worst.
I mean, you're at that point you're taking a pot shot on the fact that he comes back for half the season is healthy and is the old Nick Chubb, and if that's the case, that's a steal.
Do I have a legal lineup?
Well, like this was a 10-round mock, right? Your drafts, your redrafts are probably 17 rounds, maybe 8 or so. So with you, Jesse, saying I need a tight end, I know you took it just to fill out that roster. But at this point, if I haven't taken a tight end by round 10, I'm like, all right, I'm going into the season streaming my tight end. And I'm just trying to pick up the other guys because here I feel there's more wide receivers or running backs that are better than your top tight ends. Where the other ones just like, all right, I'm just gonna go through it. I'm picking them off waivers if they're on bye week and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do if I was in the regular draft. And, I would not have forced tight end right there. I don't – you could go Sanat, Freiermuth, any one of those guys. There's a path here for them, some targets. But, yeah, I'd rather get the impact guys and then just stream a couple tight ends, see how it works out for me. Because you'll always find somebody.
Running back –
then I'll recap.
Running backs, is it more important to handcuff there in redraft or dynasty?
Redraft.
Yeah, it depends on the running back. If they're actually capable of stepping into volume, because it's rare to have a backup that can do that. So if those high priority handcuff backups, I like those guys. But a lot of guys can't step in and do that.
Are you asking because I handcuffed Benson to Connor? Yeah. I think Benson's the best handcuff in the league.
Yeah, he has.
It might be. Yeah,
he could be.
So like Gus Edwards just went. So later, let's say around 17, 18, are you getting Kamani Vidal?
Fuck yes.
Yeah,
or J.K. Dobbins?
Yes, I am.
I'm drafting Vidal over Edwards.
Yeah, I think the whole Dobbin, he's got $50,000. All his contract's guaranteed right now. It'll change, but right now, there's no touching to, so he needs to be good. So he gets injured or he doesn't make it back, then Vidal is the number 2 guy, and then he could push Edwards for more work. So I kind of want just multiple guys in those backfields and see how it works out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is in LA, they're going to run the ball, so you can take them all. I mean, it doesn't matter, and just see which ones, depending on where they go, and just if you can get Vidal in the 15th and then JK in the 17th or whatever, why not, right? You'll have the main RB, you'll know what's going on, and then you drop the other guys.
Same thing with Cleveland, same thing with Dallas. These teams that cheap running backs, just grab multiple because one of them's going to be good. We just don't know what's going to be, so you just grab multiple, see how it works out, especially late. It's why not?
And because someone commented on. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a great 0 RB this year.
Yep. Agree.
Just because
Him and
you don't have anyone,
Agree.
right? So Zeke should
And-
get it.
And if you're talking about handcuffs, I'm absolutely taking Rico Dowdle if I'm taking Zeke, because he's going to go much later, and I think he's probably going to be the 1A by the end of the season.
Wouldn't shock me at all.
All right, you draft him, you should be in handcuffs. But the final round is Brock Purdy, Tua, Jaden Daniels, Tyler Lockett, Zeke, Xavier Legette, Freiermuth, Trey Benson, Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, Curtis Samuel, and Khalil Shakir to end it. I'm now going to switch screens here if I can. Give me 1 sec. We're going to go blank for a minute. I'm going to have to bring up my ducky race. Please, everybody, get your names in now. Everyone look, can everyone see that? Is it nice and big? Oh, no, I have to add it to the show, don't I?
There we go. That's good.
If you do not see your name in some form on here, or if it's incorrect or needs to be changed, please comment now. We'll chit chat here a few seconds about that draft before, just give everyone a chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's that? 14? 14.
I think so.
So if anyone doesn't see their name, please comment it now. Also, like I said, if I screwed up your name, please let me know. We will run this.
Here's a question. In 10 teams, how are we feeling about the fact that I guess he did go off the board because these auto drafters took a crazy amount of quarterbacks at the end, but Caleb Williams wasn't kind of going off the board, and it looks like he went off at like quarterback, 11, 12, something like that. Are you thinking that Caleb Williams is a good kind of late round quarterback to target? And kind of when do you expect him to go off the board?
Yeah, I like him and Daniels of those rookies. Like, I like pulling the trigger. Like, you could take Goff, and he's got 1 million home games this year. So if you want to go Goff, but he's going to go in that range, right? So it's just how high can Goff go up? Or Purdy was another guy I saw late. Like, it's kind of what you want in your structure roster. If you want the safety, just take Goff or Purdy. If you want the upside of Daniels or Williams, like, shoot the shot with them. It's just all about roster construction, how you build personally. So I'm fine with either one in redraft. Obviously, Dynasty is different, but redraft, I'm fine with Goff and Purdy.
Stafford also super deep as well.
Mm-hmm.
The rookie, I just wouldn't want them to be my QB1. I want them to be my QB2.
Yeah, you like pair him with, like, I'll do like a Stafford and a Daniels type thing. Like, I'll have a good quarterback with my rookie in case it doesn't work out. Yeah, like, I definitely go that route. Same thing with Richardson. If you have guys going to get injured, just take a veteran like a Geno Smith or whatever, then your draft that so you can lock in that production. But you should be able to honestly stream a quarterback if you have guys injured too. So you can
I feel like Geno is also the only quarterback where if I'm drafting him, I'm getting Sam Howell.
Yeah, I
don't buy it. I don't buy it with Sam Howell.
Aaron's gonna have Howell though.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good. It looks like we have 15. I'm going to queue it up. It is 60 seconds. I made it a little longer than usual just because I know Jeremy loves to listen to this with the sound on for 60 seconds. So good luck, everyone. The colors and costumes are set to random. Can someone in the chat please comment a number between 1 and 5 so I can randomize this? I'm going to shuffle a couple of times here.
I don't even know what to expect here. I've never seen this before. What's the sound?
They quack.
Oh,
they
was it Jesse who hates this?
Yeah, it pissed me off.
The whole fucking time.
Number three.
Number 3 is the first one, so do 3.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it cuts off some of the names. So Sirio at the top. Then we have, what is this? Byerly. I can't see all the names here. Meg something. You can't. That's as much as it goes. On the thing. Yeah, this is already mega full screen. I don't know why they do it where you can't see all the names. It cuts it off. But anyways, you get the point. So you can kind of see some of your names here. I don't know if these ones at the bottom. Personally, my favorite, I think I'm going to be going for the nice policeman up here. Thoughts, anyone?
Wizard.
You ready to go?
Oh, the king? Oh, I want the king.
So distinguished. I want the pirate.
Well,
there we go.
He has a pirate hat on.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Nice.
Good luck, everyone. Good luck. Let's go.
Nice.
Quack, 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 quack. Just do it. Let me first say that if you are out to the lead at the beginning, RIP, because you have no chance to win. I've seen 100 of these.
Oh, yes.
They always do the same thing. Whoever's at the top, you're going to finish last because you're fucked. So
the Tux has a cigar.
Shut up.
It's incredible.
Glasses. That's fantastic.
We got a green duck.
Shout out to Green Duck. Green Duck over here.
Yeah, that crown or the green duck could do it because whoever's at the back has a good shot.
We got a duck with tattoos.
Do you? Oh, nice. Couple. Nice. Oh, we got a Dr. Duck?
Is that a Superhero
Dr.
duck?
Duck.
Oh, here you go.
Oh,
The
then all
crowd's
of a
coming
sudden,
out.
This is far more
parrot's still
entertaining than
there.
it should be.
oh, see?
His duck is swaggy.
Oh, here
Yeah,
comes the
pirate
Oh,
green
there
duck.
we go.
Uh-oh, Fishman.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh,
seconds.
oh, we have a
Number 4
winner.
is
Nice. Very nice.
Okay,
nice.
just a sec. Sirio. The person who won that, there's info written down somewhere, but can you please
Find him.
message us on Twitter, either at Fantasy Football Universe or one of our accounts here? Let me bring that up on screen so you can see just. Oh, I got to shut these fucking ducks up. God.
Is that Peter? Is that Peter S? Peter S? Are you Syria? No.
One sec. I'm
assuming,
going to bring us
yeah.
on screen. So here are our Twitter handles. I got to shut the duck up. Either DM one of the four of us. I will need your, I believe it's first and last name, and I will need your email address, or just send it to the FF Universe. So I believe that's it. So congratulations to what's that, Sirio? That's how we pronounce it. I think the P
Peter
is
S.
silent.
He's gonna message us on Twitter now.
Let's go,
Okay,
Peter.
perfect. Congratulations, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to try and get us one more of these in the next week or two. Hopefully, you guys can come back again. I don't know. Peter S., were you one of the hopefuls? Were you in the SFB hopeful chat? I know a bunch of you got in. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Fantasy Football Universe and our mock draft and the SFB14 giveaway. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.